Hi, I'm Josh at the Charleston, Englund Marine, and today we're going to talk about bottom fishing in our local Coos Bay. This is for just inside of the bay. So the first area we'll talk about is the cribs. This is probably our most prolific producing area. It is an old sunken jetty that was part of the north jetty at one time. It would consist of this area right here. There are some safety concerns. You generally don't want to fish this on an outgoing tide. You generally want to fish it on the inside where my pin is right now and not this way. Very prolific area. We'll get to the setup for that here in a few. The other one would be Guano Rock. It produces lingcod most of the year, but is very good in the springtime. And then the other one is there's a small rock pile, sometimes it's also called the cribs, on the number 1 buoy just outside of the channel. Remember that you are in the easement, so people need to be able to get in and out of there. Probably the easiest to fish area is the old railroad bridge. It is still in use. It's very simple to fish. You can fish it with just about any of the popular bottom fish rigs today. You can tie on to either side of the bridge or simply make a rock anchor and anchor up there. As far as bank fishing goes, you can access the south jetty, this area, just simply going up Coos Head Road. Pretty easy to follow the signs from Bassendorf Beach to the jetty. It will produce fish. It produces pretty much year-round. The north jetty probably produces better. It is a little more of a treacherous drive. You've got to access sand road and you have to have a off-road permit to get in there. You can get more information calling us at the store at 541-888-6723. Now we'll go over the traditional setups. It seems backwards, but we are actually using smaller leads now. Our lead head jigs are traditionally going to be 1 ounce or lighter. With the bigger baits, we prefer the bigger lead heads. With the smaller baits, we prefer the smaller lead heads, generally about a 1/2 ounce. The scampies, small scampies, and the small G&R chovies work very well. They catch all the species. Simple to rig. We'll go through rigging them here in a second. They produce well. They seem to produce better if you apply a squid oil to them. Not sure why the squid oil works best, but it sure seems to. New popular thing is these small B2 squids, and we rig these with a 1/2 ounce lead head inserted into the body, and then we fill the inside. If you notice they're hollow, fill the inside with your squid oil or even power bait, and they produce very well. The way that you're going to fish these, or you're going to just simply cast it out, let it fall very, very slow, and then you're going to reel them just as slow as you can get your hand to move. Generally the slower the better. I don't know why it seems to incite a bite, but it sure seems to work. So we'll go ahead and we'll rig up one of the rigs. Remember, this is our B2 squid. It's the smallest one. It really has become popular in our bay. It's as simple as that. You're now rigged up, ready to go. These Fat Boy swim baits, there's something going on with these. They have a very big tail, but something in the water that really irritates larger fish. They work very well. We've had real good success with them. You're simply going to insert, try and keep it as straight as possible. Roll it around till you touch the tip of the nose to the bottom of the lead and push it through. It's nice and straight. There's a rattle in the tail. With this bait here, you're going to actually be casting into the rocks, or if you're sitting on the jetty, you're going to cast perpendicular at about a 15-degree angle, and you're going to keep this reeling real slow over the top of the rocks. It's very, very effective. Now to rig this, we generally go with a breakaway leader. Depending on what you're using, almost everybody switched over to braid. So today I've got a heavy piece of yellow monofilament, I would use clear monofilament, and I would use about 15 pound. You're just going to tie a simple polymer knot. You're going to fold it over, crease the line, give yourself plenty of tail, about 4 inches. Push it through the hook. So it looks like this. Okay. Then you're going to simply tie an overhand knot. And then pass the lure completely back through the overhand knot where you have a loop. And you want both the tail and the main part of the line to come through. You're going to wet the line and pull it tight. Now you are perfectly connected. You're going to trim your tab to keep everything nice and clean. And it should look like that when you're done. That allows that's a very strong knot, works well with all the braids. Then you're going to grab your rod. This happens to be the new Proteus SS. This is a great rod for our area. It works well in a boat. It will cover tuna, bottom fish, the whole, I mean, we really lucked out by getting them. They're a very good rod. And you're simply going to, I prefer to tie a swivel in between the two lines. It allows me to change things quickly. These fish don't seem to be very worried about the presence of the swivel. In fact, it doesn't seem to do anything other than to just allow the fish to be able to grab it and have something to swivel against. You'll do the same thing with the larger baits. There doesn't seem to need to be a bunch of jigging. Just as long as it's moving and it's moving slow, they'll come up and grab it. Remember, your squid oil is very important. I've used other scents. They do work. They just don't seem to work as well as the squid oil does. The next rig is an actual bait rig. And it can be kind of difficult to tie the first time. You just need to be very patient with it and to realize that it is effective. So I take a piece of mono, preferably about 15 pounds, and I do it exactly 6 feet. I go almost a third of the way down, and I make a loop. I go one good loop, like this, and then I fold this line. All you're gonna do is one, pull it back to itself, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it will look like a series of twists. Then you're going to take the top, the middle one, go 1, 2, 3 crossovers in. You're going to pull the third crossover apart with your fingernails. It'll look like this. Then you just simply take the middle line back to itself, pull it the desired length you'd like it, keeping things straight, moisten the line, and pull it tight. And then you're going to pull both ends. Now you've got a perfect drop loop. You're simply going to take a number 3 or number 3/0 Kirby hook, pass it through onto your line. Then you're going to take on the long end of your line, you're going to take a 3-ounce pyramid weight. We're going to use our same polymer knot. Remember, we're going to fold it. We're going to crease the line so we can pass it through. Leaving ourselves plenty of tail. Overhand knot it, pass it back through over the top, tighten her down, pull both tails, gives us a nice secure knot, super simple, super strong. And then this other end we are going to tie a swivel to with the same knot. Fold it over, pass it through, overhand knot, Nice and tight. Trim off the excess. Okay, now we have a dropper rig. What's nice about this is we're going to fish this rig primarily at the bridge, the railroad trestle. And the idea here is this allows us to drop a piece of shrimp down alongside the concrete pillars into the gravel. You will put a piece of sand shrimp on here using our thread that we used in our first video. We will use the squid oil on that, and you're going to drop this down, and your motion is going to be like this with your rod. You're going to drop it till it hits the bottom. You're going to let it sit, and then you're going to pick it up real slow and let it drop. Let it sit for a 30 count. Do the same thing. And all this does is it allows the fish to see the movement a little bit, and it seems to incite a bite. If you have any more questions about any of these fishing recommendations, you can call us directly at the store, 541-888-6723. Again, this is Josh at the Charleston Englund Marine.